Hi friends, how are you doing today? Welcome to my channel. And today, have you ever been confused about a profit and loss and how all of these numbers get arranged? And on your profit and loss, you look at it, you see these titles and categories, expenses, income, and you just not sure exactly what this profit and loss is saying. Going to unravel that because most likely that your chart of accounts, your income, expenses, and categories just weren't set up to work for you. This is really the foundation steps in QuickBooks Online, and most people don't even know this. But today we are going to unravel that. A new bookkeeper, you might have a son that owns a company and you're the grandmother, you're the mother, you're the wife, you're the daughter, and you are helping your family member grow your roofing business. This video will help you get through QuickBooks Online easily and without frustration. I want to remind you today, I do have a certified roofing bookkeeper program, and the link will be in the description. In the program, I have a full course, and then we will be doing group coaching in there. So you can ask your particular questions, not just general questions, but your particular questions in QuickBooks, and even share your QuickBooks to help you correct any errors that you might have. We can go through it really quick. Click the link in the description, certifiedroofbookkeepers.com. Click the Let's Get Started. There will be a survey for 3 questions. After those simple 3 questions, then you can book an appointment with me, and then we'll just discuss where you currently are and where you would like to get with your bookkeeping and helping the roofing company or finding a new client in the roofing industry that you want to help. We're going to dive into QuickBooks today. I've just set up a new QuickBooks Online. It's a demo company so that I could clearly show you guys everything. And when these things pop up with QuickBooks, it's just different things they're teaching you or wanting you to engage in. So we just close that out. But the first thing that I want to show you here today is we want to go over to our gear icon. Click on the gear icon there. And then we're going to go to your company accounting and settings. I'm not going to go through all of the settings today, but I do want to go through the advanced ones that contain our chart of accounts. And so here we'll go through the advanced settings. For accounting methods, some roofers will be on accrual, but most will be on cash basis. If that ever happens to you when you're in QuickBooks, it's like nothing's happening, just click your refresh button up to the left there, the little round arrow circle, so you can get it refreshed. I'm going to use the accounting method of cash, which means the money that I deposit in my banking account and the money that I spent out my banking account. That's how I can see if I had an income or if I had a loss. And accrual counting, QuickBooks calculates like what you have in invoices in QuickBooks and what you have to pay in bills. So that's on a different cycle there. But just ask your roofing contractor, does he file his taxes, cash basis, or accrual basis? Okay, so now we're going to click Save. And our customer label, customers, this you can always have your customers as donors, guests, members, patients, tenants, whatever. But for ours or for clients, ours or customers, okay? So we're going to click Save. A roofing contractors, the people, the homeowners they do business for is a customer. The first month of the fiscal year of the accounting cycle or the bookkeeping cycle is January. That's how the United States does it. There may be some roofing companies that are under accrual, though, that have a different first month of fiscal year of accounting. Then first month of income tax year, same as fiscal year, but you can change any of these things. Just click on your little pencil and you can always change that, okay? And I always just leave the books open so I can make any changes that I may need to. Then click your save button. Be sure and click your save button as you're going through this. Okay, then your tax form. This isn't hugely important, just whatever you think it fits the best. Sole proprietor. For this one, let's just say it's a limited liability. A lot of roofing companies are a limited liability. So we're going to click save. Now we have our chart of accounts. That's where that name comes from, if you're wondering. A lot of times when I say chart of accounts, and someone might not understand what that even means, okay? But chart of accounts, this is where we get the name from. So we're going to click the pencil, enable account numbers, and we're going to say, yes, we do. We want account numbers because it cuts our job in half of knowing what accounts that we're looking at when we're referring to an account. Then we also want it to show our account numbers. We don't do tips account. Some businesses do. So you could have a tips income. So then we're going to click save. Then our categories. The word categories, this is our classes and locations, but also know QuickBooks refers to categories like when you're going through your income and expenses through your bank account, calling those categories. Expense categories or income categories or liability categories, okay? So we're going to change this because we need track classing. And then warn me when a transaction isn't assigned to class. I always do that because then I'll forget, okay? And then assign classes 1 to each row in transaction. That's what I generally do, okay? And track your locations. You can turn that on. The roofer might be, say, in Austin, Texas, and he's working in North Austin, South Austin, in a certain neighborhood. So that can come in handy. And then you can choose your location label, business, department, division, location, property, store, territory. In this case, we might choose territory, what territory it's in, okay? Or if a roofer is a multi-state roofer, then it would be different states. So we'll click save here. And then for automation, we want to be really careful with this. Preform fills with previous entered content. Yes, that's fine. Automatically apply credits. Do not do that. Don't let QuickBooks do that for you. You need to actually look at the transaction and figure out what you need to do in that situation. Automatically apply bill payments. No, we don't want QuickBooks to automatically do that either. We want to make sure it's correct before it's done. We'll click save. And then we have our projects on. And once you do turn projects on, you can't turn this off. In construction, we do use projects, especially if the roofer doesn't have a progressive CRM or app that he's working for his job costing. We do some basic job costing in QuickBooks, but if a roofer, if he's has sales of $1 million a year, he needs to be using something like Jobber, AccuLinks, Job Nimbus, some of these other softwares, okay? And QuickBooks does have multi-currency, but we typically don't use it. But if you did want to use it, you can just click your little button and you can turn it on. Our home currency is United States dollar, but you could choose all of these. If you did have a Spanish roofer, then you want to choose like peso. There it is, the Mexican peso here. Then you might have to choose that, okay? Or even if you're dealing with someone that's in Great Britain or UK, you would have to use that. The date format, I don't generally have to change that. If you wanted something different, then of course you can change it. This is a currency format like that, but you could have it any way that you want it here, okay? Customer label, I have customer. Warn me if a duplicate check number is used, that's important. Warn me if I enter a bill number that's already been used for that vendor, yes, that's important. Warn me if I duplicate a journal entry number, yes, that's important. And then sign me out if I'm inactive for, then I would say 3 hours before QuickBooks signs me out, okay? Because a lot of time as a bookkeeper, you're on the computer here 4 hours or 6 hours a day. I do my schedule where I'll work with clients and doing my bookkeeping from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., okay? You may be a night person. You could be a morning person doing it in the morning time too, okay? So now we would just save this. All right, so let's click down here, done. Okay, so that's the part that we needed to get done before we could get started with our chart of accounts today. And so I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're hanging in there. Now what we're going to do is we have our menu here on the left-hand side. And I had a client that to create something, you need to click the button. But you could do an invoice or whatever, okay? So you click that button. So we're going to go to accounting here, and then this outside towards your screen menu, it pops up as well, okay? So what we are going to do is go to our chart of accounts. Let's go here. Then we're going to click this hamburger, so we just have a bigger screen. Okay, these are all the accounts that QuickBooks set up for us just to start our company out with. Here for new account, you can actually import from a Excel spreadsheet, CSV or Excel file to upload here. You could also have a Google Sheet. And so QuickBooks will show you, just click download a sample file. This way you can save this sample file. Then we're going to click this little hamburger to give us more space on this screen. Inventory assets, we usually don't have inventory, so I try and delete or inactivate any accounts that I don't want to use. Some accounts QuickBooks does make us use, so we have to leave in here. So let's try and make that one inactive. Okay, I know it won't do our uncategorized asset, but I'll show you. Click make an active. And then it'll tell you this count wasn't deactivated, okay? And that's just an account that QuickBooks has to have to run the software. Then we have retained earnings, which yes, we still need that one. Billable expense income. I'm going to try and make this inactive because we don't use that. And what that means is that you're going to put like purchasing material on an invoice and make that billable to automatically add to a customer invoice, but we don't do that in roofing, okay? Now we have our construction income. We have the metal, the retail, and the roofing. Repairs we already put in. So let's see if we can get rid of this sales of product income because we don't sell any product. Sometimes it doesn't let you. So that one we know we still have to have. And then sales of product income again. Let's see if they let us move that one. Okay, we got to move that one. Then we have services here. So we can make that inactive. And services, make that inactive. Uncategorized income, QuickBooks is probably going to make us keep that. Yeah, okay. Cost of goods, we still want that. Employee benefits, let's not keep that. If we need it, we will add it, because not all roofing companies will have employees. Purchases, we don't need this one. And we're going to be creating, the best way to do it is be creating accounts as they come through the bank account and through the bank feed in QuickBooks that we will get to in a training video. Now, salary and wages, right now we don't have any employees, so we don't need that. Uncategorized expenses, we'll try and delete it. Probably not. Okay, got it. Okay, so uncategorized asset, I also wanted to remind you, before you delete an account or make it inactive, go to your view register. And then you want to see if there's any transactions in here. If it has an ending 0 balance, then you can make it inactive. But if it has a balance, do not make it inactive, because QuickBooks will create some type of journal entry for that, and you'll have to go and clean it up. Okay, so for the first one, it's an asset, other current assets. We're going to edit this. And the asset accounts are our 1,000 accounts. So on this one, I am going to make this 1,400 account. And right now we're not putting it under a sub account. And for description, and what I type here is QBO required account, which means I know I'm not using this account. So you can put don't use. And a lot of times, especially when I'm working with the roofer, I will put up here, don't use. So nobody will use that account. Then we can save that. Now you have the number and don't use and other asset or open equity balance. This open balance equity is always 0. So if you ever see a balance in here, then you need to research that, view the register, and then reclassify those transactions somewhere else, because it should always be 0. Okay, in this account, it's always 3,000. It's open balance equity. Then I will just put balance is always 0. Sometimes when you add an asset, say you buy a truck or something, and you add that and you want a QuickBooks to depreciate it, then QuickBooks starts tracking on that and makes its own entry into opening balance equity. Or if you add a credit card, it'll do the same thing. Now our retail earnings, that is a retail earnings equity account. See, it's equity right there. So we're gonna edit here. For this one, we're gonna give it 3,500. Okay. And this is profit or loss recurring from year to year. Okay, that's how QuickBooks calculates that. Then we're going to save that one. This billable expense income, they have it as an income. So let's do our construction income first. For construction income, that's always a 4,000 account. So put in 4,000. It's got income, service fee. We had already did all of that. So we can just click save. And then what we can do, like we've got metal, retail, and roof, you can click this little pencil and you can actually just type in your account numbers to do this faster. So we'll put metal, it's 4003, because I always like retail to be 4001. We can do 4002 for metal, and then 4003 for repairs. Then you would click save. If you ever get an error, it means you duplicated one of these numbers, okay? So billable expense, we are going to make that. We don't use that, so it's like 4,900. Once again, we'll put don't use. We'll put QBO required. Okay. And you can't change the sales of product income because QuickBooks created this account. Okay. Now this sales here, it wouldn't, this is product income. So what we can do the same here for this one. What I'm going to do is write product sales. And then I'll put do not use. Okay, and I'm going to make this like 4,100. But I don't want it to be listed with our other income accounts for work we're actually doing. Then I'll just put do not use here. I know what accounts right here. This is the only accounts that I'm going to be using for my income. Now we have uncategorized income. We can do the same thing. We can actually put it like 4850, so it's by the other one, and then just put. And what happens in QuickBooks, say something doesn't get put in the correct place, QuickBooks will put it in an uncategorized income. So those are things we have to clean up, okay? We have to put them to one of our actual income accounts like retail, roofing, metal, or roof repairs. A lot of times this happens on an invoice, okay? That's why last week when we put in the products and services, that was like really, because we mapped those out, linked them to match our chart of accounts, okay? Our cost of goods, that's always a 5,000 account, and we use this as a parent company here. Okay, we're going to save that. Then uncategorized expense. We don't want to use that one as well. So we'll put do not use. But this is the first step that you want to go through so that you have all your accounts in order so you can add them as you need to, okay? And then we'll put again here, QBO required. Okay, and then we can save that. Okay, so now in our chart of accounts, we have this information, these accounts set up. Another one that we would actually enter, say new account, is going to be, I put banking accounts, and I put this 1,000, it's the 1,000 account, and here is under bank. I'm just going to click bank, and then we're going to do checking, okay? And then this is going to be the parent company. Okay, then we'll click save. And then new account again. Now say we open the account with Wells Fargo. We'll put this 1002. And then this is our bank account. And this is checking. Then it is a sub account. And then once you click sub account, you'll see the parent account. So we do the drop down box and then go to bank accounts. Okay. Don't put any open balance or any of that information in. And then when you connect your bank accounts, it'll connect it here. Okay. So then we have Wells Fargo there, right? And another account we use in roofing a good bit would be our Wells Fargo. A lot of times what I do is I put the ending of the account number so I know which bank it is. And say we do 1004 and we do bank. And then we say that this is our savings account, okay? And then we also want to make this a sub-account of the bank account, okay? And then save. So now you have your bank account, Wells Fargo. We can change this. Just put checking. And as you see, like checking here, if you go click this drop down arrow here, then you can connect that bank into QuickBooks. You'll need your username and your password, okay? And then your bank will probably send a code to you on your phone, right? So those are a couple things. Another one that we do, say we're going to use Chase credit card. Have a Chase credit card we want to use. So we're going to scroll down to where it says credit card here. It says credit card. And say we're going to make this 2021. The liability account Chase credit card is a 2000 number, okay? And we didn't have, let's make our credit card account first. Thinking about that. So let's do 2200 for just a parent account. Then we'll add the other. I hope this is being helpful to you of how to get your accounts in. So going to do that. Now you see the credit card here, 2200. So we're going to do another new account. Let's go Southwest credit card. And that was 2200. So we're going to take the next number, 2201. And this is going to be a credit card. We're going to make this a sub-account of credit card, okay? So, and then you can just put Chase credit card. And then I would put here to help you account number, because sometimes when we have multiple Chase or Wells Fargo credit cards or Capital One, we're unsure which card it is that we're working with. And that's why you want numbers as well in your chart of accounts here, so you can put them in the correct category, okay? So that's kind of some basics there. Now we've already put in a lot of our construction. So now let's go to our cost of goods, and that's what it cost us to do a roofing job, our direct cost. Okay, so let's put in a new account and let's put in job material. And then we'll just use 5001. That's a 5000 account number. Okay, then we're going to scroll all the way down to cost of goods, not expense, but cost of goods. Okay, then it pops up cost of goods labor. No, this is shipping material cost of goods. And sometimes you hear people call this COGS. So if you ever hear that, okay, we'll make it a sub account and we're going to put that under our cost of goods. That 5000 number and that matches that 5000, okay? And then we'll put material and supplies directly for the job. Okay, so we'll save that. Okay, so now when you scroll down, you've got job materials. Okay, and another thing that roofers are going to use is going to be your dump fees. Okay, so you can put that under our cost of goods. We can make that 500. I'm going to make that 5005. Okay, and that is just other cost of service. Okay, we're going to make this a sub account and cost of goods. We're going to save that. And another one is our contractors. So we're going to put contractors. And then let's save this 5002 for that one. And then our cost of goods. And that is labor. So make this sub account and then cost of goods. And then here, I'm going to put contractors, request a W-9 before payment. So we need to get their name, their address, and their federal ID number or social security number filled out on a form. Okay, so we're going to save that. So those are like the basic things: your cost of goods, your income here, and then your bank accounts and your credit cards. Okay, so that is how you start getting everything in. And then when you do go to your reports on your standard reports, and we will be starting to put some numbers in here where you can see real numbers, but then it would show up right here for any expenses you have in there. Okay, so we're going to go back to accounting. Then click this hamburger to open it back up. And then when you go to bank transactions, then you can start connecting your bank. And what you're going to do here is click connect account. And then we're going to start that process. I'll get a bank account set up in here, just a fake one. And then we're going to start working through some transactions and some later videos as I teach you how to do different things in QuickBooks, to teach you how to use QuickBooks Online for roofing companies. That is our training for today. And so jump into your QuickBooks Online and start taking a look at your chart of accounts, take a look at your reports, look at your reports, reclassify and clean up your chart of accounts and add all the new accounts, account numbers, and then look at your new report and you'll see a world of difference and you'll really see what you do have. Thank you so much, and be sure and click all the resources that I do have in the YouTube description. I really look forward to speaking with you, and this is a great way you can start to get a six-figure income. And in the fourth quarter of the year, which is coming up, and the first quarter of 2026 is an excellent time to really get started and get some money in your business. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Bye-bye.